Are you an NFT artist or seller? If so, you may be shocked to learn that NFTs are often exposed to sales taxes when you're selling NFTs in Minnesota. But here's the thing, almost no one is currently collecting or remitting sales taxes on NFTs. Don't get caught off guard by the tax man. Watch this video and learn when sales taxes apply to the sales of your NFTs and how you can collect and remit them appropriately to stay in compliance. So what is a sales tax? A sales tax is a tax that's levied on the sale of a good or a service. The amount of tax can vary based off of the underlying product that's being sold or the taxing jurisdiction. In Minnesota specifically, the tax rate is 6.875%. So do sales taxes apply in Minnesota? And if they do, when exactly do they apply? Minnesota issued NFT sales tax guidance in August 2022. And on this fact sheet, they outlined what type of NFT sales are going to have sales tax liabilities associated with it. And what this ultimately comes down to is the underlying product that you're selling that's associated with the NFT. So when you're selling an NFT, what does this NFT represent? Depending on the product or service that the NFT represents, that's going to dictate whether or not sales tax applies in Minnesota. So some of the underlying products that you may be selling an NFT with that will have sales tax associated with it, per the fact sheet from Minnesota, would be digital audio works such as live or recorded music, songs, speeches, audiobooks, and it goes on to list more examples. Digital audio visual works such as music, videos, movies, news, entertainment, and so on. Digital books such as novels, biographies, dictionaries, and so on. It goes on to list more types of underlying digital tax products. This is definitely something you want to review in detail with your CPA or tax professional. This is the Minnesota fact sheet for sales tax and digital products. They list e-greeting cards, online video or computer gaming, and the list does go on. There are some products that are not taxable. So if you're selling an NFT and the underlying product fits within the list on this fact sheet of non-taxable products, these would be exempted from sales tax. And for these particular transactions, you would not have to collect sales tax. That would include access to digital news articles, charts and graphs, digital photos and drawings, logos and designs. There are more things listed here with some more nuance, such as webinars, textbooks, and instruction materials. So in Minnesota, the taxability of a specific NFT is going to come down to the overall nature of the underlying product. Now, in addition to looking at the taxability of the underlying product associated with the NFT, we also need to look at sourcing rules to determine if sales taxes actually apply to your NFT sale. So all sourcing is determining where the sale took place. So for purposes of Minnesota, the sale is considered to have taken place when you either transfer the product to the customer or the customer first uses that product, whichever one of these two things comes first. Under Minnesota, the sale is going to be sourced based off of the customer's address or location. They did not give guidance for sourcing in the event where an NFT seller or company may not have the information of the purchaser or of their customer. So it's unclear how or when taxes are going to apply in Minnesota in these scenarios. Now, we have seen other states like Washington State that also taxes NFT sales taxes state that in the event where you don't have the purchaser's location, then it goes back to the seller's location. So will we see this happen in Minnesota? At this point, it's unclear, but this may be an approach that we see other states start to take to address the issue of lack of customer data for a lot of these NFT sales that have taken place. But for Minnesota, currently, the sourcing is going to be based off of the purchaser's address. So after we've considered the underlying product associated with the sale of your NFT and we've considered sourcing rules, we need to then determine if you do have sales taxes potentially applicable given this set of facts. Do you actually have a nexus in Minnesota? Now, your nexus is going to be determined by your overall business operations. It's going to look at your physical location. So if you have a physical office or warehouse or any type of physical presence in Minnesota, it's likely that you're going to have an economic nexus and that you're going to have to collect sales taxes on NFTs as applicable based off of the underlying product and based off the sourcing rules. Additionally, if you're out of state, you can still have a nexus in Minnesota based off of economic nexus rules. So in Minnesota, and this varies state to state, but specifically in Minnesota, if you have 100K in gross revenue or over 200 transactions within the last 12 months, then you would have what's called an economic nexus in Minnesota. So this means that even if you're located in an entirely different state that has nothing to do with Minnesota, but you have this level of sales either in dollar amounts or in units that are sourced to that state, then you're still going to be on the hook for sales tax collection and remittance in Minnesota. So at this point, you're probably asking yourself, how do I collect sales taxes for my NFT sales? You're going to need to collect some additional information from your customers related to their address at checkout to ensure that you're collecting the right sales tax amount from the customer at the time of sale. So at minimum, you're going to need to collect your customer's zip code, use that to determine the state and county that they're located in, which will ultimately determine the sales tax rate that applies to that sale. Now, in certain cases, depending on your customer's ultimate location, collecting just the zip code may not be sufficient because sometimes the zip code can be inaccurate if we're looking at local tax rates for sales taxes in addition to state tax rates. So in Minnesota and in many other states, in addition to state sales taxes, there's also local sales taxes depending on the specific county that you're located in. So, in those cases, collecting the zip code may not be sufficient to get you an accurate combined rate. In those scenarios, what's ultimately best is if we can collect the full address from the customer and use that to determine a full and accurate sales tax rate based off of their exact rooftop location. So obviously there's the current challenge within the NFT industry of anonymity and, customers right now, if they go onto an NFT marketplace or to an NFT mint page, they're not providing any information associated with their address. So this needs to be one consideration for you as an NFT seller or NFT marketplace. What information are you going to collect from customers? Are you just going to collect their zip code? Are you going to collect their full address for full rooftop accurate rates? But you are going to have to collect some form of information from your customers in order to be compliant with sales taxes. Now, remember, I was saying related to sourcing in Minnesota, currently they're sourcing the sale based off of the purchaser's location, and they haven't really given any guidance for scenarios where companies do not have that customer's information. In other states, we have seen guidance related to this. One state that comes to mind is Washington. Now, Washington is taking a position where if you don't have that customer's information related to collecting NFT sales taxes, then they look at the seller's location. So basically in Washington, if you're not collecting your customer's location and collecting and remitting sales taxes based off of that, they're going to basically apply sales taxes to all of the sales and assume that they're all sourced in that state. We'll see what Minnesota and what other states do. I expect that many states may take this approach to address this issue of acquiring this customer data. But right now, you as an NFT seller or NFT marketplace need to be taking this into consideration. Additionally, once you basically have collected that information from the customer and you determine what their sales tax rate should be, you need to collect this at the time of checkout. And obviously this is going to need to be collected in the native cryptocurrency that you're selling the NFT in. So what I mean by this is, for a simple example, if the sales tax rate is 10% and you're selling an NFT for 1 Ethereum, at the time of checkout, once you confirm the customer's address and that tax rate, you're going to have to collect 1.10 Ethereum from that customer, with 1 Ethereum being revenue for your company, and then the 0.10 Ethereum being sales taxes that you collect and then appropriately remit to the state. So there's these two things that basically need to happen at the time of sale, and that needs to be collecting the appropriate information from your customer and then calculating and collecting the sales taxes in the native cryptocurrency that you're selling in at the time of checkout. So our team at Digital Impost has designed an NFT sales tax software to automate this whole process, from collecting the customer's information to calculating the NFT sales tax rate in the native cryptocurrencies, and then collecting that NFT tax rate, and then actually automating the whole filing and tax reporting end of things on the back end after you've collected this information. So there are some major risks with not properly collecting and remitting sales taxes for your NFT sales. Firstly, these NFT rules and regulations related to sales taxes in most states are interpretations of existing tax laws and regulations. So that means that this can be applied both retroactively and prospectively, which means that NFT sellers can be on the hook for sales taxes for all of the NFTs that they've sold in the past, if sales taxes apply to them. So there's a very large risk of states coming after these NFT sellers for back taxes, and then these companies, these artists, and these people selling NFTs are going to be in a position where they're going to get hit with very large unexpected tax bills that they may or may not be able to pay. Additionally, this can create very bad publicity because, if you or the industry as a whole starts getting headlines put online and in the media saying that the NFT industry or a particular company is evading sales taxes, not paying sales taxes, not paying their fair share of taxes, that's not going to look good for your company or for the NFT industry. So there's a very large risk of unexpected surprise tax bills coming via retroactive taxes, as well as large damage to companies' public image or the NFT industries as a whole public image. Me and my team at Digital Impost have been tracking the issue of NFT sales tax compliance since its inception. We've created the industry's first NFT sales tax compliance software called Digital Impost. Digital Impost enables NFT sellers, marketplaces, and any business that's selling goods or services in exchange for digital assets to automate the process of calculating, collecting, filing, and reporting sales taxes to the respective state and local sales tax jurisdictions. Our software allows you to collect your customer's zip code or full address at checkout, and then use this information to automatically calculate an accurate sales tax rate that you need to collect from this customer, and then actually allows you to collect this sales tax rate at checkout in the native cryptocurrency that you're performing your transaction in. Then on the back end, after you've collected this information and completed the transaction with your customer, our software, Digital Impost, allows you to have all of the correct information for tax reporting purposes in terms of the sales data, blockchain data, and customers data. And then we actually automate the reporting process so you can file and report these sales tax obligations accurately and timely to the respective taxing jurisdictions. So at Digital Impost, we've created an automated end-to-end solution for NFT and digital asset sales tax compliance.